Okay, well, we lived in this little stone cottage for a number of years, and I continued to have a lot of out-of-body experiences. My dreams were really transforming from like regular kind of dream-like experiences to more spiritual, more meaningful dreams. And I continued to really evolve, I think. There was a little girl in San Antonio during these years that we lived in this stone cottage that had been abducted. And the local news station was carrying reports several times a day on the progress that they were making in finding this little girl. And they were reporting so often that the local news station actually developed this little musical jingle that they would play before each report. And so during the day when I was home, if I heard that musical composition, I would stop and listen to see if they had found this little girl. So one night I'd made supper and I'd put all the food on the plates, and I was carrying the plates into the dining area to put on this little table where we ate. And I had the plates in my hand, and I heard the TV was on, and I heard that jingle, that musical jingle, and I knew that there was going to be a report forthcoming. So I just stopped and I listened to the television, and I don't know how long I listened, maybe 15 seconds or so, and suddenly I am no longer in my body. I am suddenly in this car, and I'm traveling in this car in the passenger seat. Someone else is driving, and we're driving along, and I'm looking out my window, my passenger window, at the landscape. And it's kind of surreal, and everything is kind of in slow motion. The car is going real slow. It just seems like I'm moving very slow. Everything before me is very slow. Anyway, I'm looking at the landscape, and I recognize where we are, but I can't quite pinpoint exactly where we are until I see this county road sign that we're approaching. And it passes like this, and I see on this county roadside CORD 220. And as we pass by it, I think, oh, I know exactly where we are. We are at the intersection of 2325, Ranch Road 2325, and County Road 220, also called Jacob's Well Road. Whoever's driving the car makes that turn onto 220, and we travel up this road a very short distance, and then suddenly I am jolted like this, back into my body. And when I got jolted back into my body, there was actually a little sound that accompanied it. It kind of went whoosh, like this, and it jolted me, and I find myself standing in my dining room still with the two plates in my hand, but I had been somewhere else. Well, this was really new for me because I had only been doing this out of body thing in my dream state, in that place where you go to sleep at night. So this was really different. And I thought, man, where was I? And what does this have to do with anything? I made absolutely no connection whatsoever with being in this car and what I was seeing on the television about this little girl who had been abducted. So about 4 or 5 days later, I hear this jingle again on the TV, and I turn my attention to the TV, and they gave the news report that they had found this little girl who had been abducted in San Antonio, and they found her on a ranch on County Road 220 in Wimberley, Texas. Well, I cannot tell you how distraught I felt, because immediately I made the connection between that experience I had in this car, seeing County Road 220 pass me by, turning onto County Road 220, and this little girl being found on 220. I was beside myself for a long, long time, thinking, oh my God, if I would have just known, if I would have just made that connection, I could have told somebody. Maybe she was alive. I really suffered over this. Shortly thereafter, not too long after, probably within the month, I found out from a news report that the little girl had been killed shortly after she had been abducted. So if she was in that car that I was in, she was probably deceased by this time. But I made a promise to myself. I made a promise that if this ever happened again, that I was going to tell somebody. At the risk of sounding crazy to somebody, I was going to tell somebody. So I had many more out-of-body experiences, and this whole situation really evolved into something for me later on in life, and we'll talk about that in another taping. For now, thanks for watching, and I hope you join me again.